What's going on, people? This is Harry Khan here. Welcome to YouthViewz, where we tell you the truth. No need to depend on the mainstream media. We tell you what is really going on. Now, I am on my jollies at the moment over in the country of Canada, where it is interesting because I believe that they've just called elections over here as well. However, back to UK politics is really kicking off because it has just been announced yesterday, I believe, that the prorogation of Parliament has been ruled by the High Court as illegal. Now, as your BBCs and your Skies will report it, that there was a rule of that being illegal. Let me tell you straight what's going on. Boris Johnson and his advisors lied to the Queen. Yes, lied to the Queen, right? Let's not get it twisted, let's not get it mixed up. Boris Johnson lied to the Queen, and it's been ruled by the High Court as illegal, this request for prorogation of Parliament. Anyway, that is going to the Supreme Court, I believe next week, where there may be some action to basically bring the Parliament back to sit in, and that will be a big blow for Johnson and his lovely advisors. There's no talk that there's anything happening in these the talk of a deal between the European Union and ourselves. If you look at the Twitter rumours, if you look at what the journalists are saying, there is certainly no scope, no detail, no movement on or development on securing a deal. So you can as much as guarantee that the intention is still very much about going towards no deal. And it's really interesting with this no deal thing because, you know, the average person would ask, why would you want to destroy jobs, livelihoods, the economy in order to secure a no deal? And actually there's a few stories that are popping up as well, again on the internet at the moment, that actually show that some of these hedge funders and the donors of the Conservative Party, people who've donated to Boris's own campaign, see to actually profit from a no-deal Brexit. Some of these people have hedged bets. Some of these people actually, it's really complicated, but in simple forms, they profit from the pound weakening. So a recession will make these people more money. You just could not make this stuff up at the moment, and that's why we are here to tell you that, look, whatever political side of the spectrum you sit on, whether you're a member of one of the Labour heartlands up north and you're being really motivated to vote for anyone but Labour because of their stance or so-called stance on Brexit, listen, no deal. It's not going to help you. It may emotionally help you leaving the European Union without a no deal and generate this animosity and whatnot. But believe me, for your livelihoods, for our livelihoods, this is not going to be great. This is going to be a disaster. But that 1% at the top won't harm them. In fact, it will profit from what we're hearing, from what you're reading. I would urge our viewers to go and research and search into these things. It is going to be profitable for these rich pigs, basically. Anyway, moving on. Really pleased to see there appears to be some unity in the Labour camp at the moment, and we understand that the TUC meeting, the Trades Union Council meeting, where all of the heads of the unions got together and agreed a stance on Brexit, and it's been long called for because the Labour Brexit sort of stance has been a little bit confused. It hasn't been helped by people in the mainstream media who were purposely trying to cloud the issue. But let me tell you what the exact position is in terms of what, straight from the horse's mouth, from what Mr. Corbyn is saying, and that's really who we need to listen to when it comes to the stance of where Labour's position is on this. Is that Labour wants a general election, and I think nobody will be surprised to hear that. Labour wants a general election. As part of that general election, Labour promises a people's vote, whether you want to call it a second referendum, a potential opportunity for those who may have changed their mind to decide whether this is exactly what they wanted. Before that, Labour will spend some months, some weeks, some months trying to negotiate a different deal from that of Theresa May's deal, a credible deal which passes Labour's tests, which will basically protect workers' rights, environmental standards, and keep a sort of status quo on some of those things, really. So we're not going to be below the status quo on some of those rights and whatnot. And then what Labour intend to do is put that deal to the people, and it's not yet decided on where Labour will be sort of campaigning. In my view, I think Labour should campaign for their own deal. 17.4 people voted for Brexit, and therefore Labour should be on the side of Brexiteers. I understand it's a difficult area because we're a very, very broad party. However, we have to, in my view, respect the democratic mandate that has been given. Anyway, that's a very, very simple, clear-cut stance. But as we know, once in a while, Mr. Tom Watson, our deputy leader, pops up once in a while and does his best to divide the party, now calling for a second referendum before a general election. Now, a referendum could take up to 6 months to arrange, probably more, and you want to keep the Tories in power for that long? Do you know how many hundreds of thousands of people have died from Tory austerity, and you want to keep the Tories in power? Well, I think it's not just about keeping the Tories in power. Mr. Watson is really, really shit scared that Mr. Corbyn, our leader, will come into power, and I think he's a little bit scared of losing his own seat, because his constituency was a high voting Leave constituency seat, so a general election is the last thing Tom would want. However, and this is what the great thing about the unity at the moment the Labour Party have shown in the last few weeks, and not just the Labour Party but the other opposition parties, but these trade union leaders have all basically got together and told Tom Watson on camera on Sky News, what are you talking about, mate? Get your head out of the sand. This isn't a Tom Watson show, my friend. This is about the Labour Party and the Labour movement. And I welcome that. I really, really welcome that there's a stance, there's a movement, there's now a really, really good feeling in the air that we can go and fight a general election with a really, really brilliant, radical manifesto. And future videos are going to talk a little bit more in detail about the details of that manifesto. But certainly, I'm happy that our Brexit position has been clear. You know, if you're a Lib Dem voter and you want a second referendum, you vote Labour, because that's what you'll get. Revoking Article 50, which is a position of what your party's taken at the moment, I don't think it's going to help you guys, because you're moderate, you're people who are moderate, a large portion of people who are in the middle that the mainstream media are not going to talk about, actually respect democracy and would prefer a softer Brexit. So that's where I think Labour is going to be coming in and scooping those votes up, hopefully. So Tom, get up off your high horse, mate. Back your leader or get out, because actually you're divisive. We know what your game is, and we don't need you any longer. So guys, that's where we are at the moment. Like I say, let's keep an eye on what happens with the Supreme Court ruling. I have a feeling that the High Court ruling will be sort of upheld, and there's a very, very good chance that Parliament will sit next week, and there's a very good chance that a general election within those sittings coming back will result in a date decided on a general election. Listen, help us out, share the video, subscribe to the channel, retweet the tweets. We look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care, guys, and peace out.